I'm live. Okay, great. Hi, I'm Heather. And in this video, I'm going to do my very best to remember and speak to as many of the most important points of basically a project review for my recent workshop, Cuddles, Consent, and Boundaries. Um, I think is a really powerful practice to do as a project manager or an event producer to, really sit down as soon as possible after it's complete, that, the event has happened, and really glean as much learning as you can from it. Like, I wrote some notes that I have right here in front of me. I yeah, there's some specific stuff that I always kind of think about, like, okay, how much did it cost me to do this event? How much did I bring in donations? How much time did I spend in promotions? Like, I'm going to speak to, all of that a bit, but it's, anyway, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So, for those who are not familiar with what that workshop is, it's called Cuddles, Consent, and Boundaries 101. I believe, I could be wrong, so I invite feedback about this. I believe that title um, provides plenty of information for you at least to have some idea of what's to be expected. So it's a 101 level thing. So, I do anticipate folks like understand and recognize, like, I'm really catering to the brand new beginner. That's clearly not totally clear because I've had feedback from folks who are a little more experienced and comfortable with cuddling, that I was overly simplistic with what I talked about, or like my exercises were like, you know, basically I recognize that they're coming from a place of they have a higher level of knowledge and experience than most of the people in the room, and unfortunately, they had an inaccurate expectation, or one that I'm not even trying to meet. That I was going to challenge their knowledge, or add a ton to their experience. Like, I think I actually am going to add a ton because. Um, what I believe sets me apart from other folks who have offered or do offer anything like this is, uh, I based the workshop on what I wish existed when I first started learning about platonic cuddles. Um, I literally even had to ask, what does platonic mean? Or I had to look it up. So I didn't realize that just meant there is no sexual connotation or energy or anything present there. Um, so when I first started exploring it, I didn't really understand what was going on. I did have a really hard time. I wasn't able to read my signs. Like, it was really important stuff that I missed. So my experience was a little rougher and a little more activating and triggering than I wish it had been. And so, yeah, I created this workshop for like the person like me who coming in, like, never cuddled before with anyone but their partner, or their kid or their dog, and they don't even quite understand why people would do that, and and they feel really like, oh my god, just so I don't know if I can do this, kind of nervous. Like, I understand, I've been there. So yeah, so that's the 101 aspect. And then Cuddles, I'm really hoping, is conveying the idea of, like, really innocent, like, friend-based, friend-based, like, connection. Consent, because I am offering opportunities to practice an embodied sense of what does consent, what does yes and no, and I don't know, I need to know a little more, feel like in your body. um, and some will say that is too elevated or too advanced of a concept. No, it's not. It's just very few of us learn until later in life how to really recognize what's happening in our bodies. And I feel the exercises and stuff I talk about and the stuff we do in this particular workshop is foundational knowledge that I wish we had all learned as young folks, or kids or whatever. So that's the consent aspect. We're exploring it, we're practicing it, we talk about it a little bit. Boundaries also, we talk about it a little bit. Most of the focus is on experiencing it, trying to feel into your body. What are you noticing? Don't worry about the other person. They can take responsibility for themselves. If you're feeling very confused, that is your experience. Stay with your experience. Like, Yeah, really subtle, but still, I feel very impactful, and I have received feedback that it is very impactful. Um, Integrated, like really feeling the yes and the no, um, kind of practices. So that's the name, Cuddles, Consent, and Boundaries 101. Um, and then my description, I feel like I'm almost there. I'm hoping I don't have to do a lot more editing for the next one, because that's one of the things that has taken the most time in this in my most recent series. So I like to call things kind of by like a television. I use the same thing that you might with a television show. So I'm in season 2 of Cuddles, Consent, and Boundaries. I did it once before. That was season 1. Did it in January of 2020. Uh, this is season 2 because it's my second time coming around to it. And and there's been 2 episodes so far. I also feel like any individual cuddle is like so unique and so its own safe self. And so I love how we set a really consistent container that at least at our private cuddles that I want to teach people how to do too. But yeah, it's a consistent container so they know what to expect. And yeah, anyhow. So yeah, so I feel like I'm pretty clear. I do need to review the description, the emails. One email that I have really fallen down on is it is a week and a half later, and I have not sent a follow up email. And I know that that is, a poor practice. Um, I really should have had it done like long before the event and had it just like ready to go. I've been behind the ball for a while, and I am not doing all of what I know is best because it's not all available right now. So I'm just doing the best I can, giving it at least a B effort. I've gotten a C on a few efforts lately that I was like, I really thought I nailed. So it's okay. Um, uh, yeah. So there's still probably okay. I need to make sure I schedule for myself at least a couple of hours very soon to really comb through all of that stuff and see how close to complete it is. It would be great if I finished it in that. So yeah, the text. Another thing that I really need to do some more work on prior to the next is finish kind of fine tuning and formalizing like what my promotion is going to look like. Like I spend a lot of time writing kind of unique posts every time almost. And I think there are ways to use kind of a boilerplate and mix it up a little bit so it feels a little more fresh, but requires less brand new words from me. So I do need to formalize the promotion aspect. And simplify it. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. So tired of promotion. I'm so looking forward to training my assistant to do it for me. Oh, that's gonna be so great. So that's also part of what I'm still like really fine tuning is how do I teach someone else how to do this efficiently? Um, you know, uh, anyway. Okay, promotion. Okay, so yeah, I need to schedule another 2 hours to review what I currently have for proposed promotion and updated and that kind of thing. But first, I need to write the follow up email. Like, that is top priority. I actually even resisted making this video because I feel like it's not the most urgent thing. The thing is, I think it is what's due now. Um, it's what's due now, and I'm past due on my letter. But that means I can't that doesn't mean I can turn everything in late. So that helps me feel better. And I love using the structure of like kind of college kind of an I don't know what it's like nowadays, but back in the 90s, the way college was kind of structured is sort of the way I also kind of structure a lot of my thought process. So that's where I'm going to refer to it a lot. Um, yeah. So, and in the description and maybe in the emails, I will try to clarify. Ooh, that's right. I couldn't add a little bit more clarification of what to expect in those emails. Like, I can get out of the way some of my talking words in the emails because, for the most part, people have been really reading them. They're very information packed, and I hope are helping people like relax. I have received at least one direct feedback that yes, the email series was very helpful. Thank you. So, okay, so marketing promotion. I A big win in the marketing and promotion aspect is that some folks who haven't even come to the workshop um, told someone just like on a group page that a lot of people I know are on. It was a day for the dance community. Someone said, "Hey, I have a client needs platonic cuddles, like something. They need to go to a cuddle workshop. Who's doing it? Where are they?" And two people who haven't even been to my workshop yet trust in me and believe in me enough that they both said, "You know who does it? Heather T. Campbell." And they actually were referring to two different things. So I even kind of loved that it was, one person was kind of saying, "Hey, she has this private party that you should try to get invited to." And I was like, "Okay, actually, thank you. But our guest list for our private party is really pretty full right now. So we're pretty reluctant to add anybody, definitely not people we don't know. So private parties, please." Even though I think it's funny that so often, I mean, so many people are hearing about our party. So I'm like, okay, this is awesome. This is a good idea. It is ready to move on more cuddle parties in Portland. And I'm going to talk about it on video so that more people can have more cuddle parties elsewhere. That's my goal. Anyway, back to, yeah, that being a big win. Several people recommending, and even one of the people who recommended me is a professional in the cuddle community. She's getting to the point of practicum, in her certification program, and for her to offer another person's work when it is so close to what she is going to offer. I'm not sure what her state of readiness is. I haven't talked to her, but like that's a big honor too. And yeah, the person who asked followed up, and we've had a two-way conversation, and it was very fruitful. So that is a huge win. Marketing wise, also like a couple people really did share my stuff. I really appreciated it. I think that it's paying off that I keep saying like, "Hey, if you feel like helping me spread the word, please click interested on the event." And yeah, and then some folks have gone ahead and taken the next step and like shared, the event and said, "Hey, this is why I would recommend you go." That is also like the best, the best kind. Ooh, time check. Ooh, shoot. My friend Corinne and I have a call in 6 minutes. Where is my phone? Oh shit. I gotta look and see if I have any from her. Okay, I gotta wrap this up. Shoot. Okay, so there's gonna be a part two. There'll be a part two, because I did everything, but I do want to say at least a couple of my most favorite friends. Okay, at the end, and everybody's cuddling, and everybody's just like feeling so good. This one we were open share, and this one person said, like, no, she is like cuddled up with this big bear kind of guy, and very just look, I can just see the relaxation on their face. And I'm trying not to be too specific about pronouns, so apologize. They said, "When I walked in, I felt terrified and anxious, and now I feel safe and nourished." I did cry a little bit. And then uh, a very masculine presenting man said, "I felt emotion coming up during the touch, and I almost started to cry." And for a man to share that he almost cried, like even just saying that, I recognize is so vulnerable. Is so vulnerable for them because I have seen, I've witnessed, I've experienced the way in which men's emotions have been squashed and said, "It's not safe here. Don't." Okay, I'm gonna pause real quick and find my phone because I need to make sure the ringer is on. Where are you? Telephone. Oh shoot! Did I leave it upstairs? Oh my gosh! Okay, I'm okay. I still will do a no. I'm just finished. That's right. Okay, so cool how this keeps happening for me. Um, I have noticed lately that when I feel time pressure about a appointment I have, this is a commitment that either a friend and I or a business collaborator and I have made where we set a time. We both agree it sounds like a good one. But then that we arrive at that day or the day before, and one of us at least says, you know what, things have changed. I'm not available at that time. How does this time work? And we might have to go back a few times, but back and forth. But I nearly always am delighted that it's happened because for 6 months at least, this has been very consistent. Where someone will message me and say, you know what, I need to change it, and I will say, "That is awesome," because 15 minutes ago I was going, you know what, I can totally do this meeting. I'm not going to ask to change it. It really will work for me. But man, it would be cool if it postponed. It'd be really cool. You know what I'd like to do if it postponed? I would do like lie on my little sticky mat, my sticker mat, which is an acupressure mat, or watch a Disney show, or read a book, or like I'll decide what fun thing I'm going to fill that time with, like bonus. And then a few minutes later, the friend will text me, like, it keeps happening. And today it happened multiple times. It was so perfect. So I had a 11:30. I think it was 11. I think it was started as 11, an 11 o'clock appointment with a very dear friend. Um, and he had to push it back, and he really hates changing the time, like and so he's always like, I need grace, and I'm like, I give it freely. Like, I have no problem, because I was working on a project that I didn't want to stop, and I was really enjoying myself, and I was thinking, it'd be kind of cool if I had a little more time to work on this. And then I kept receiving his updates, and it kept pushing back. And what time did we actually meet? I think we started at 12:30 or something. So that was great. And then my 1:30, because my 1:30 changed first. So I think I don't remember the outline, but my 1:30 was like, hey, that's not gonna work for me. Can we do 2:30, 2 or 2:30? And I was like, great, no problem. And it's gotten pushed back. Now I think we're at 4. And I'm like, yay, because I'm not done. I want to do this right now. So that's fun. Uh, and I guess I share that partly because I feel like it's indicative of kind of being in the flow and surrender, and reminders that I am probably directing more of my time and attention in the directions that are in my highest good than I'm giving myself credit for. And so therefore I'm receiving little messages from, I consider to be like my angels, guides, guardians, or enlightened beings, like whoever's connected to me, who has my care and welfare, at the center of their offerings. Um, uh, that's their messages. They send me little like angel numbers, it's repetitive numbers, 11, 11, 22, 22, 44, 44, whatever. There's a bunch of them. And I see them a lot, like every day, 30, 40 times. So yeah, so I know I'm on the right track. So okay, so that was the right I was talking about. And then Someone shared, I felt more freedom and acceptance because this was a platonic space. So often people have experienced the situation where they're walking in thinking that this is they've agreed with this friend or this group of friends that it's platonic. It's just like chill, let's watch a movie, whatever. Um, that's what they think they're walking into, and at some point it shifts, or that's not what they walk into at all, and it's different from the beginning. So that's what most people have experienced. So for someone to feel just so much more freedom and acceptance, and I totally agree, um, when it's a platonic space is really powerful. Um, I also, um, what else were some really key things? I don't know. Maybe they'll come back to me, but there were some other really key feedbacks that I received. But here's some more. Okay, so I definitely took too big of a level change from the very gentle exercises we were doing to kind of get everybody ready for actually coming into contact. We did way too quick of a level change. I really should have introduced like the opportunity to hug or make another level of contact with somebody before we shifted into practicing different positions. It was, and I started with spooning. I mean, spooning is so sweet, but it's, what I thought was going to happen is it would really like help them relax. But instead, because some people weren't ready for it, it really wasn't a like fully pleasant experience for some people because too abrupt of a level change. Some more feedback I received, way too much talking. Totally agree. Um, Definitely a result of my poor time management. This is definitely some firm feedback that I've given myself. Like the outline must be done a minimum of 2 days before the event, or you need to seriously consider canceling. It's like that's a really big deal. So I don't like canceling at all, ever. Um, so yeah, I need to complete uh, whatever is needed a minimum of 2 days before it's needed. And so there's a lot of like everything I need to kind of push back and set more realistic timelines on. Because that was so stressful. I was so stressed out. It was terrible. It was my least favorite way of being, especially at the beginning of an event. People were coming downstairs. I wasn't even fully ready. I wasn't fully present. See, I'm burping because it's hard stuff coming up for me. I'm really bummed about some of these things that happened. Um, I, I wasn't as close or connected to people as I normally would prefer to be, and I know feels best to recipients. Instead, I kind of created some space and barriers between me and the group, and I'm giving myself some grace because I know that was very much a not only a result of how activated my system already was because I was under resourced, um, but also honestly I still have a really hard time being in a group environment of any kind, but particularly when everybody's looking at me. And I love being in the like I'm in charge, I'm helping organize everything. Like I love that role, and right now it still takes a lot out of me. Um, so that also leads to me kind of falling back on old uh, uh, ways of doing things. So in my professional environment, my professional career, it was perfectly appropriate, and this was what I frequently did. Would have a lectern and my computer, and that is how I would give presentations to groups. And that was perfectly acceptable. That's how pretty much everybody did it. Some people would have, the big screen, whatever. I rarely did the big screen. But sometimes, I guess, man, I'll tell you what. I think the most intense one is when the University of Oregon got a brand new president and he was learning about all the departments. And I had to give a presentation to this brand new president about my program and what it was about and why it was valuable. It's very nerve wracking. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to go into the details of that story too much. It's a good story, but not right now. Um, okay. Let's see. Yes. So I created a lectern out of a tall chair and I put my computer on it. And since I had not practiced, which is why it's so important to be done at least 2 days in advance, because I would use those 2 days to practice. Um, uh, yeah, I reverted to my lectern and computer days, which is not pleasant for the cuddle people. They want to don't no computer sucks. um, and there were so many things that were difficult about this event. So if there's event producers out there who are like listening to this, like you will get why this was so hard. I was stuck between a rock and a hard place in certain situations. So this is like so basic, poor event management. Um, it was cold that day. It was 32 degrees probably outside. It was super disappointing because it had been warm all the way up until then. And myself included, there were multiple people in the room who had expressed a heightened level of discomfort with sharing air with other people. I fully respect that. I know that at different levels of nervous system activation, you're going to have a different feeling about what level of what feels safe to you. Um, so I had a cross breeze going. People were freezing. And I'm like, there's blankets and I have ponchos and like and this is kind of feedback for them. Like not many of them took me up on it. They just shivered. And so I didn't think they were that cold because hardly anybody was getting blankets. Hardly anybody was doing something to make themselves more comfortable. So I believed that they were all okay. And so I didn't even try to change anything. But later I heard from the relaxed group and from someone who wasn't so relaxed that it was really uncomfortable to be cold. And it's totally reasonable. um, so another thing that I feel like is a huge win is the folks who are giving me feedback like at the end, like while they're still all cuddling and I didn't make them like really change position. Um, they gave me really helpful and constructive feedback that they delivered in a really kind and like non-judgmental, just just facts based like feedback. Like if it had been done really another way, someone saying you talk too much could feel really painful and could feel like really personal. But I feel like because they were all super chill, super relaxed, like they had access to their best communication selves. They had access to the ability to frame what could be received as difficult feedback in a really kind and supportive way. You talk too much. Yeah, you're right. I knew that. um, the the level change was too much. Yes, absolutely agree. You're so right. I wish there would have been a circle or some opportunity to kind of connect. Really look at each other and look at each other's eyes. Yes, it was a missed opportunity. Like I so regret that. But again, I was in my lectern computer phase, and I couldn't pull myself out of it. So please, grace around my poor pre, like kind of beginning of the workshop connectivity practices. I wish that I had been more mindful about inviting people into the space and helping them land. So I will do better. Uh, let's see. I think I'm pretty sure the next biggest piece that I want to speak to, and really what's helped me come to a place of gratitude and acceptance and, and really kind of letting go of any feelings of resentment. What's helped me get to that point, and this is in regards to the amount of donations that were, the amount of individual like donations given for, access to the event. Um, I really gave very little direction about what I anticipated would happen, maybe what my expectations were. Um, and I have now had my expectations and anticipation of what's likely to happen um, truly reset. I have a much more realistic view. What I learned is that at a current level of like community education around the ancient, like this is not a new idea, this ancient practice of supporting the educators, the teachers, the monks, the medicine women, the doulas, the like the people who just like their life purpose is to support their community, and they spend so much time supporting or aiding or inspiring their community that they don't really have a lot of time to do other stuff like cook or make money. Like fuck, like money, that's a fucking made up thing that shouldn't even fucking exist. I fucking hate sorry. I didn't mean to go off like that. Guess I'm having a little bit of a rage fit about the reliance on currency as a way of a pathway to abundance. Anyway, so there is this lack of understanding and lack of awareness of this ancient practice of supporting those who support the community through their unique gifts. Um, there is when Amanda Palmer started her Patreon thing and was like, hey, you know what? People who enjoy me, fans, whatever, please come just give your money directly to me. Please don't like give all your money to the recording studios anymore. Like, pay what you can, and I trust and believe that I will be amply rewarded for my offerings. And she believed it. So Amanda believed it so strongly, and she just saw that vision so clearly that she got fucking devastated in the like people just tore her to shreds over and over and over again in every fucking way. Her book, The Art of Asking, I believe is the title. I'll come back and put a link to the book for sure. So genius. If you can get it on audio, even better, because she reads it and she throws in some extra stuff. So, goddamn, that book is good. I have listened to it 2.5 times, I think, and it's definitely something I should go back to again and again. But it kind of talks about her life in general as well as a bit of that experience, but mostly busking, like her experience of busking, which is like the epitome of donation based offering, man. Yeah. Amanda Palmer is who inspired me first. Since then, I've had a lot of self education, a long path that I do intend to kind of share as best as I can remember how I got from. I do have a unique experience. I'll just put it at that, and I will come back and talk about that some more at some point soon. But um, sorry. Uh, yes, I discovered that the current level is inadequate for my offerings to be at it like supported at a level that feels really good to me and like really worth it. That's not what's available right now. Um, what I believe to be currently happening in our like kind of wider community. I am mostly appealing to like the Portland authentic relating, dance, a little more hippie kind of folk. um in that community there currently, I believe, is like a, a a belief system that if you don't really want to pay very much for something, you don't have to. If it's offered on a donation basis, and the facilitator is leaving it up to you and just trusting that you will pay a fair amount, over and over again, not just me, other facilitators are experiencing this, that if you don't put pretty clear boundaries on it, almost everyone, even those who I am confident could afford more because they have full-time, well-paying jobs, like they pay a bunch for other workshops. So I know, even the people who I know would pay more if I was charging more, but they pay $5 or $10. Um, that is basically a sign that like it hasn't been taught to folks that you need to value the person who is presenting this information. I mean, a 3-hour workshop, man, like there are people who I believe the average range for the value of the education that I offered in those 3 hours could very fairly be charged at 60 to like $130 for that workshop. I honestly like, I think a comparable workshop would definitely be that much. And when folks are charging that, they're usually saying, if you really can't, if even the 60 is outside of your range, then talk to me. We can work something out. Um, and That's what I see happening. And I guess I'm gonna have to do something similar. I don't plan to put 60 as the base. I'm just gonna share that, like, a comparable workshop, this is the range. I trust you to to donate a fair and reasonable amount, but also that respects your budget. If freely and frequently go to other workshops or other events or things that you pay to get into, um, you know, please don't pay less than you typically do for those things. Especially, yeah. um, so yeah, I've had to kind of work through, like, oh, I feel devalued. Oh, I feel disrespected. Oh, I feel like regretful for not putting in more um, of a range. I feel really disappointed that, like, the people that I thought would be really supportive and like really like my stuff, like, would pay more. Like, so I had all these stories and all these expectations, and clearly they weren't reasonable. They were misplaced. So no, not misplaced, out of step with the current reality. That's more what I think is accurate. So I feel like I'm getting closer to what is in step with reality. People need more education, they need a little more guidance. I am seeing enough other people kind of doing offerings in this way, and free and courageously saying, hey y'all, if you would like to donate, support to me, here's my sites. um, I'm seeing more folks doing that, and I love it, and I thumbs up it, and I comment, and I support that as often as I can. Yeah, and I just feel really strongly that it is part of my path to return to my childhood roots of community supporting community through barter, through trade. I don't know how many times my parents paid for doctor's bills in halibut, or work that they would do for the person, or just owing them, like, I mean, I'll get you this fall when we get a moose, I'll give you a quarter or something. So and people were very graceful about essentially giving credit because they know that it's not moose season yet, but they want a quarter of a moose, and so that's the payment the dentist is going to receive. I don't know how they paid the dentist, but I'm pretty sure the dentist got like, things other than cash. So I want to return to that. I thought that was awesome. I thought that was creative. I thought it was supportive. Sometimes it would be somebody who's like, I have a particular skill and I see that you have that need. Let me help you with that. Like, that is awesome. And I really feel like if I would trade money, like if I had the financial resources available and I wanted a massage, and I, could go pay for 60 to 110, whatever it is these days, if I could go afford that, I so would. But what I'd prefer, instead of trading currency for a service, I would prefer that somebody with that skill and who joyfully does it would offer me and say, I would love to give you a massage in gratitude for this thing that I learned from you, or this workshop I went to, or whatever, like whatever it is that they, feel like they've benefited from, or just in general, and they want to gift me something. I would much rather receive that massage from that person than receive cash from them, and let's just take the middleman out and go get some random person to massage me at a massage studio. Like, that's not what I want. So yeah, and a couple of like things. I'm just going to say them out loud. Like, I really want these things, and I feel confident that they're going to arrive at some point. I really, really want a iPhone 12 Pro, I think it is, where it has the really cool cameras. Like, because I have this old guy, an 8, which is the one camera, and it's really frustrating when I go out for walks and I can't take good pictures. And I know I'm way off track, but that's how I do. So yeah, basically what I'm saying is another donation that I would love to receive is a hand-me-down phone. I don't need a new phone, brand new. I mean, refurbished is cool, but if it's like a gently used hand-me-down phone, like I upgraded, this thing is a couple years old, I don't want it, but it's just sitting here. That would be my favorite. I would love so much to be able to upgrade this gold guy. Um, and my bank just told me that I might not be able to update. I might not be able to get the newest app anymore. And then another hand-me-down I would so love is a Mac laptop preferred, but I would happily, joyfully receive other types of Macs, just something that's not any more than a couple years old and doesn't have a lot of like weird things going on with it. Yeah, a hand me down of a, you know, little bit older Mac with a bigger screen. Like I have this tiny, tiny screen. I have this shitty little camera in it. Yeah, so I very much would love that. Uh, a newer, bigger, more powerful, more memory Mac laptop and a battery that holds charge. Um, so yeah, so I'll have, if the person watching this happens to have any interest in supporting my work and helping me continue to sustain my life and improve my lifestyle without having to drive my car all the fucking time as a rideshare driver or a delivery person, I'd love your support. I will put the link for Buy Me a Coffee and PayPal donations down below. And I am, as soon as I can, adding more wish list items to Buy Me a Coffee so that like somebody like has a hand me down phone. They'll know that that's something that I need and want. Um, I'll put on their massage. Like you got to trade. You have a skill. You know what my favorite would be? If someone like was willing to come do a good cleaning of my house and my bathroom and stuff like that, at least every couple of weeks, once a month. I would accept once a month, but every couple of weeks, like that would be such a gift. I would love that so much. So yeah, I've been hoping that someone will feel that they've really benefited from my offerings and they will want to kind of give me support in return in the form of regular of my space. But the way I want it done, not just in old ways. So, yeah, it's time to wrap up. It is about time, and I need a snack, so I have a couple minutes next call. Uh, I think I hit the big points anyway. Like, there's always a little more review to do, but by speaking it out loud right now, I know I still got some really good ideas out, and I find that when I speak things out loud, it like clears up a dam, basically, like those beaver dams and or those little rock dams that used to make in streams, right? And then you go break it down, like it kind of builds up a bit, and then you just kind of push it a little bit, and the water starts flowing again. That's what I'm doing with my brain and my thoughts by speaking out loud. Some people write it down. I say it. Um, I know that that's going to create space for me to have like the next level of awareness about the positive feedback I've received, the kind of difficult to receive feedback that I've gotten. There was a lot of positive feedback in that particular response. It's just it came at a point when this person was in a state of trauma response, and I was totally not like resourced enough to receive. And I really feel like that level of when somebody's like really activated, when a lot is up for them, that's when it's time for professional support. And that's the time when it is someone much more advanced than me. And not many friends of most people are able to do that kind of either. So there's a level of extremity of trauma response that might come up that is not appropriate to share with the facilitator who happened to push that button or the friend who happened to push that button. It was very likely unintentional. And in this case, it was 100% unintentional. Many of my missteps or perceived, things were mis understandings and seeing things very differently. And it's all true. It's all true. But it's both myself and that other person's experience. That is 100% what happened for them. It's totally what happened for me. We just happen to have different experiences in the same space. Sometimes that's hard to reconcile. So yeah, this has helped me clear a bunch. It helped me remember I got a lot of really positive, a lot of really constructive feedback, and that really helps balance out the activation and the memories of past times that come up receiving more highly charged feedback. So yeah, if you stuck around for this, thank you for being here. Thank you for being on the receiving end. I am much more likely to kind of chop this up into little bits and pieces if I ever get around to it. I don't know. So, yeah. Uh, if there's any of the other stuff I'm supposed to say, like, subscribe, comment, share, thank you for your support in whatever way you choose to offer it. And thank you for watching. Thank you for yeah, helping me grow this channel. Thank you. Okay, gotta go. Talk to you later. Okay, bye bye. Bye bye.